Welcome to the Fellowship Star Stage. I'm Michelle Griffin and I'm the host today, and I'm here with the very talented Philipp Haug.
Hi.
Okay, well, he's doing a beautiful haircut today and finish, and we're going to have a little chat with him and he's going to take you through the whole cut. So, first of all, would you like to explain about your new salon that's opened up?
Thank you, Michelle. Yes, I would love to. So we just opened a new salon in November in the middle of London in Fitzrovia, which we are very excited about. Oh. We had, both my wife and myself, we had a very long career at Tony & Guy, and now decided to open our own little boutique salon.
Yes, and I know I've just met you today. So the Tony & Guy, the connection, you said that you originated from Germany.
Yes.
Which is where your lovely accent is from. Yeah.
So yeah, I worked first for a long time for Tony & Guy Germany, then came to London. I thought I'd come into London for a year or two, learn English, which clearly didn't happen.
Which is perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And and then worked a very long time as an academy manager for Tony & Guy. And now we have our own little brand.
Salon. Oh. And how is it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's great. It's obviously, it's so different than before, because before I was set in a quite, big organization and had my place in there. And now obviously feeling the freedom of, on one side, the positive, do whatever you can, but also obviously on the other side, a lot of pressure.
And obviously you're a fellowship member, which is great.
Yes, of course.
So your association with Schwarzkopf, you're an ambassador?
I'm an ambassador for Schwarzkopf, yeah. So we do education for Schwarzkopf, obviously everywhere in the UK, but then also we do a bit of fashion week with Schwarzkopf. We've just done the BAFTAs with Schwarzkopf, so we actually feel really lucky that we have a partner with Schwarzkopf.
That they open all the doors for you?
Yes, they give us the opportunities, exactly.
Yeah, okay, well, you carry on with the haircut. I'm just going to start talking to you about what you're going to create today for us.
So first of all, I would like to introduce you to Chloe. So we've done already a bit of a preparation just for time reason, because we obviously want to keep this as punchy as possible. We actually done one side already.
Yeah.
And what we would like to show you is the other side. We're almost working a bit like in a horseshoe section. Why we're working in this kind of manipulated horseshoe section is we're working a bit more with diagonal forwards and curves. So like on a horseshoe, we can separate the top area from the underneath. So we can actually now creating to the underneath a beautiful soft texture, take a lot of weight internally out, and then you will see where we actually worked on the other side already. We're working from a bit of shorter to longer, so we will be shortest around the curvature of the head.
There's going to be lots of texture.
Lots of texture. And then also, and this is what we're going to start now, then obviously afterwards we want to, create also a bit of a fringe area, as we obviously know is the most important part of a haircut, because that's what, gives us the feeling for the style.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what we wanted to do, we want to start first of all with the back area. In the back area, we want to work with diagonal back graduation. And you will see me working from the beginning. When we are working here into the back area, we're working straight away in quite a strong point cut to really get that kind of textured feeling through the outline. We want to keep that kind of texture, all the way through the haircut, because obviously this is the texture what's going to give us the softness, the femininity. So we obviously can detail the hairline a little bit later, but we would like to create that from the very beginning. Yeah. We're working with diagonal back sections. These diagonal back sections, obviously what is beautiful about diagonal back sections is that they're pushing the weight away from the face. So straight away, we have here in the back area, it's sitting really, really nicely in the nape area.
And I can see from a client's point of view, this is going to be really easy to maintain and look after.
Yeah, exactly.
Because even if it grows, you're still going to have that really textured look, even if it grows down to the shoulders.
Exactly. So on the side area now, and I feel this is probably, even when we are doing a shape what is softer, there's quite a lot of technique in there, because obviously for us it's really important. Thank you. For us, it's really important to also have when we cut hair, if we do a strong graphic bob or if we do a short textured haircut, it always needs to have a very strong, technical approach.
Yeah.
Okay, so because I feel only when we have a good technical approach, we can teach our apprentices, we can teach our staff members the haircuts, how to replicate them.
So in your salon, have you followed this on from all your training and working with Tony and Guy?
Yes,
have you followed
of course.
That ethos?
Of course, yes. I guess, there's a little bit of an element where you make it your own.
Yeah, of
but
course.
Again, you will always be like a big part of it is always where you grow up, isn't it?
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
also good. So I'm going to turn Chloe around so I can show you my reverse graduation a little bit better on this camera. So what we want to do now, and this is, we actually a lot more untraditionally, we're starting on the ear area. So because we're starting on the ear area, we can push the weight forward, so we get that softness and texture towards the face. But we can also from there pivot backwards and push the weight away from the face. So we're working now, and this is why we're working later at this connection, that we're working here with a reverse graduation. So reverse graduation obviously means we're working from shorter to longer. Again, we're working a strong textured line, so good distance between our fingers and the line we cut. And then almost leaving a little bit of what we would call optional length. So a little bit of extra length, what we can later personalize and detail very nicely away.
Soften it. So this was also tinted with Schwarzkopf colour?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
This was created actually for a new product launch last Thursday for ammonia-free product, which is Igora Zero Arm, which is our brand new product in our salons. They're completely ammonia-free.
Nice.
And you can see we've got a really nice kind of shine, we've got vibrancy into the
that's
colour.
what I was looking at.
So also I feel sometimes, when you go a bit braver with the cut or with the length, it's actually quite nice to keep the colour a little bit more global.
Yeah.
So in this case, we wanted to really make sure, we get that real shyness and again, prettiness into the haircut.
What's her base? Because she does look like she's a redhead.
I think she's a bit like on the blonder side.
Okay.
I don't think naturally she's too red.
Suits her so much.
I think that suits her, really well.
It's looking good.
So you see, we're creating the texture, and again, also, even when we're working quite technically, we're still quite quick too, which I think is obviously also quite important when we're working in a kind of a salon situation.
Yeah, I like the fact that where you've got the weight as well.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see now, and this is, I feel like, especially for anybody who is watching, who is a bit more in earlier stages of their career, especially when it comes to short hair. It's always good to save the crown area, isn't it? The biggest problem or the most scary thing probably when doing a short haircut is when the crown area goes too short.
True.
Okay, so I think with this, working first into the underneath, getting the security, getting the safetiness, working the underneath, you can now fill into the top area. You can see obviously from previous haircuts, probably a bit more edgy haircuts, there was quite a shorter crown in there. We're just ignoring this and blending that in later when we're personalizing the hair when it's dry. For the moment, and this is probably the most important bit, we're arriving now at the disconnection. So you can see we leave the longer bit, the shorter bit out, but also you see we're working quite a bit of a disconnection because again, we don't want to be too short for the crown area. We would like to keep a little bit of length to make sure, we have that kind of beautiful head shape coming out.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay, so we're taking this again, halving our guide, over directing this into the center, and again, point cutting this quite soft.
Point cutting all the way throughout.
Point cutting all the way throughout. And you can see, look, we have quite a significant disconnection, but because the underneath is point cutted soft, and the top is point cutted soft, actually you will see it's going to blend really, really nicely into each other. And I think this is, the word undercut is used so often, but for a consumer in a salon, they think an undercut is always shaved. Isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think for us, an undercut can be so much more technical. And this is more of a technical undercut where we allows us to go shorter underneath to create that texture, but still allows the length on top, which gives us the softness.
I understand it.
Okay, so you see we're over directing both into the center. Then, sorry. So you see we're over directing both into the center, okay? Working them into the center, over directing it. And again, we're following the guide from the underneath. Why we're increasing the length to the front nicely is because we're working a fringe area. So obviously having maximum length towards the front area allows us then to actually, you know, have that heaviness and allows us then to work the fringe however we would like it to. On the other side, again, obviously this is quite, you know, technical understanding. We try to stand on the opposite side. With standing on the opposite side, we obviously almost over directing to our body and working it again, like on the other side, really nicely, short to long. Okay?
Yeah.
I would like to also show you now a little bit of the disconnection because I think it's always good to see. So you can see here we have quite a strong disconnection in there now. That's why we're disconnecting it. So this disconnection, you know, but still, can you see, because it's all textured and because obviously it's also more globally colored, it falls really soft into each other. So when she would be my client in the salon, I probably wouldn't talk too much about disconnection because the word disconnection probably scares her off. But you can actually see, for her it doesn't really make a difference if it's disconnected or connected. She just wants to have a cool haircut.
Oh, and she's got more movement, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So you can see this is obviously the first part. We would like to move now to the final part of cutting wet, which is the fringe area. And again, you can see with the fringe area, she had a fringe before. We would love to also work that a little bit technically. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna spray wet in between.
Yeah, sorry, I'm hugging it.
Good assistant.
Not so good now.
Okay, so again, we, you know, have now different options. You know, we could, when we wanted to go now, and I'm sure it would suit Chloe too, go with a very strong fringe, and then actually make a haircut what is so far very soft, give a whole edginess to it. But in this case, we really want to stay a little bit on the softer side. Okay, so again, we would like to work with a pre-section at once. Okay, I think pre-sectioning the fringe is always a good shout because that also, you know, gives you always a little bit of extra length, a little bit of extra option. And then we just literally working this. And this is where I try to really strongly work with my body position. So with my body position, I would like to stand straight in front of it because obviously the idea when I'm standing straight in front of it, I can create a straighter line much easier. When you move your body more towards the side, you will obviously always be tempted to over-direct one side slightly more, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So what I would like to do here now, on such a crucial point like the fringe, okay, I would start in the center, okay? Again, also, it's probably a word you heard quite a few times now from me, leaving a little bit of an optional length, okay? Better safe than sorry. And literally working again a point cut, but probably a lot softer point cut than we done that for the rest of the haircut.
And do you always go to the same length or do you vary it depending on who you're working on?
The length is obviously completely decided on suitability.
Yeah.
I was looking at Chloe's book yesterday and this morning, and there was a few pictures where she just looked really good when she had that length, it was just sitting below the eyebrows where her eyes come out.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you can see, obviously, with her piercing, I just think that's a really cool length for her.
Yeah.
But it's also a length what she can still tuck and manipulate really nicely to the side
Yeah.
when she wants to.
It looks good.
Okay, so when we are happy with this length, then we're literally cutting the rest of it really nicely onto it. Again, I'm trying to work on my body position. Checking our guide from underneath. And you see, we're working it also in elevating. We're elevating it ever so slightly. That little bit of more elevation obviously gives us also more softness.
Yeah, a bit more texture.
So you see, we're working that kind of texture all the way through.
Yeah.
And
You
voila.
make it look so simple.
Oh, thank you. Stop that.
You do.
So you see, we have almost, and this is what, when we spoke with Chloe, when we spoke with Chloe's agent about the kind of explaining the kind of style what we are doing, then for us was almost describing it as an outgrown pixie haircut, which is almost the kind of length between a long short haircut and a short bob.
I like it.
You know, so that kind of in-between length. And I just think, you know, obviously it needs some texturizing, it needs some personalizing now. We want to create even a bit more body into it. But you can see already where we would like to be.
Yeah, I love that disconnection, but it's not called a disconnection. I love it. I can see you can create more movement with it and the shape that it's going to be. Looks great.
So we would like to, before we're going to dry,
yeah, explain the products that you're going to use.
Yes, we would wet it down first a little bit.
There you go.
We want to use now from the new Osis range, the Air Whip, which is probably my favorite kind of mousse. What I love about it, it's quite a traditional mousse. Okay. And it's really soft. You know, again, it gives us hold, it gives us grip, but we can still manipulate the hair really nicely with it.
It's not too strong.
No, it's not too strong at all. You will later give you a feel on the texture. You can really brush it through, you can personalize the hair nicely.
Is it a product that's been out for a while? Because I don't know whether I've used it in the past.
Yes, I think this is one of the repackaged products, which is really nice. Obviously, Osis got a whole kind of revamp with you know, repackaging the products.
Yeah,
which
it looks good.
I think it looks really nice. Yeah. And yeah, I like to work with a kind of a traditional mousse like this. And what we want to do again now, we obviously, someone with short hair like this, like Chloe, is not going to use a round brush. Wants to almost have it quite wash and go.
Yeah,
so what we would like to do is doing the same. We blast into it, and we really want to work with the kind of natural fall of the hair. So again, I like the idea of now using a dryer, almost using a dryer now without a nozzle. So without the nozzle, the air comes out a bit more diffused, and then literally drying the air, you know, working it in and manipulating the texture with the fingers really nicely into it.
Okay, I'll leave you to it.
Thank you.
Looks great. Love the shape.
Very good.
So now you're personalising.
Yes, we want to personalise the shape a little bit. So obviously, first of all, we want to, you know, create a little bit more softness here through the neck area. We want to, you know, detail this, obviously, detail the hairline really, really beautifully. You know, obviously, I feel like this is, you know, the pretty bit, you know, what keeps the kind of softness
keeps
in the
shape.
haircut.
Yeah.
You know, so we really want to spend a little bit of time on this, you know, and detailing and working it really bespoke for her hairline. So we see we're working with a smaller pair of scissors and really detailing.
So have you changed your scissors?
Yeah, I changed my scissors.
So what size were you working with the first scissors?
Have you not seen it?
No, was it a 5, 6?
Yeah, it was almost, it was a 6.5, so quite a lot bigger. And now I feel like the kind of personalising bit is just nice to do, you know, with a really small pair of scissors, you know, just to get that kind of detailing into the shape.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so you see also, you know, what I think is really important is that everything falls really, really soft into each other. So again, you see where the layer, you see we have a strong disconnection in there, lots of different lengths. But actually, and this is, you know, the beauty of it, you can almost not see any of it, but it gives us a very nice silhouette into the back area. Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see like working with that texture, okay? So again, also through the outside, what I would like to do, you know, you can see here now, where obviously from the top area, where we're having that big bit of disconnection falling over, this is really where we want to detail the hair now. So again, I'm working with a very gentle slice cut, you know, so you can see we're not with slice cutting. That doesn't mean we go, you know, super strong into the hair. We literally want to just very softly detail, do a combination of, you know, parallel D-point cut and slice cutting. Okay, so you see where we have these really heavy long bits coming from the top, which we need, but we want to break them slightly up.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course, always moving, you know, moving the hair, playing with the hair. I guess when you're in a salon, the nice bit is doing that in front of a mirror.
Yeah, no, I like dry cutting.
Yeah,
but you find what a lot of stylists do at this point, they then blend it all in, don't they? They lose the disconnection because they get carried away.
This is important that we're not losing that disconnection completely, because otherwise you could have done a round layer at the start, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, okay, so again, to the other side, exactly the same. But then again, you know, I think, and this is also, I feel, quite important with, you know, with us, you know, in a salon situation, to really make sure we're making our haircuts bespoke.
Yeah,
you know?
of course you are.
Because when you don't make your haircuts bespoke and they don't sit that nicely, why should someone come back to you, isn't it? So I feel, you know, and this is probably harder than ever, because at the minute we see so much movement and texture in hair, so it's difficult to personalize it, right? But the question is just, why does it look good? Because we blow dried it very nicely? Or because the haircut is very good?
It's the haircut.
And I think sometimes, you know, I think like we need to keep in mind that, you know, we do a haircut for our clients for the next 6, 8, 10 weeks, and not just, you know, to their walk out of the salon. So
tell us about your session work, because obviously this is where you get your inspiration and your ideas from.
We do a little bit of it together with Schwarzkopf. That's where I'm obviously very grateful that they help me and sponsor me. We've done in February London and New York Fashion Week.
Amazing.
Which was really cool. It was also for me really exciting working with the Schwarzkopf team. You know, I just always think it's so interesting to work also with other creatives, isn't it? If you do fashion weeks or if you do shoots, You know, it's always nice to see the view of a makeup artist, the view of a stylist.
And you
just,
all have your
know,
different strengths, don't
exactly,
you?
and just
when you
bring that
it in
together.
together. Oh, yeah.
And I think, you know, and this is something I think what is probably more than ever important, isn't it? That at the end we want to create stuff that looks really good.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not about how technically difficult it was.
Yeah.
Our clients don't really care, isn't it? What
That's
they care
right.
about is that they want to look amazing. Okay, so you see, I like the idea of that. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
natural, it's
beautiful.
loose, it's pretty.
Yeah.
You know, she could
Soft.
easily style it like this.
Yeah. This is very salon worthy.
And I think, you know, most importantly, I feel like it suits her a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It's pretty for her.
She's got lovely features. The colour looks good on her.
So, again, just making sure. And you know, this is also, I think, with personalizing, I think, you know, a lot of it is probably you hear, you know, the standard rule is you do very strong point, you do parallel deep point cut when you want to be softer,
No.
and slice cutting when you want to be stronger. But actually, you can do, you see, a very soft slice cut, which just gives you a few shorter bits in between,
Yeah,
and just gives you, you know, that kind of volume into it.
it's lovely.
Okay, I just want to.
I think we've just got a couple of minutes
Yeah.
now to wrap up.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to use the Refresh Dust,
Okay.
which I like to, you know, spray in a little bit with the hairdryer. Quite a bit of,
Is it a texture spray?
yeah, it's like almost a bit of
Oh, smells nice.
a dry shampoo. But a dry shampoo, what gives us a really nice texture from the beginning, just to get that kind of texture into it. And then we're just gonna, you know, style it just with. And then we're using probably my favorite product. It's of course the hairspray. Elastic hairspray for Moses is, you know, the best hairspray I've ever used.
Does this give it lots of
I don't know if you
movement?
have used it yet, but it's
No.
like, especially now for Fashion Week, you know.
I was going to say,
when you
from the
wear
name, it sounds as though
elastic,
you can keep using
yeah,
it and moving
you know,
it.
it gives that movement, leaves that coolness
Great
to
name.
it. You know, you can just bring it in, gives you a good hold, but you can still manipulate the hair really nicely with it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Just having a look.
And then if we ungown her and stand her up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's it for the first
Yeah,
bit.
amazing. Thank you, Philip.
Okay, so you can please stand up, Chloe.
So thank you from the fellowship. It's been absolutely amazing. I've loved watching you. Oh, it's like up close and personal,
Yeah.
private lesson. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's very
Love
nice. I
it.
really
She
enjoyed
looks
it as well.
amazing.
Thank you, Michelle.
Well done. Thank you.
So you can see now what is important. We want to have that kind of softness through the edges. I think with the product, with the color, all three elements come together: cut, color, and product now. And
Gorgeous.
you can see we have a real pretty feeling to it.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for having
Thank
me.
you for watching. Amazing. I've loved it.